Hi, today is Wednesday, the 13th of May, and this is my final video on how to code with Python. My emotions in the project throughout the month have been very up and down, from being excited when I completed one of the courses or I could do something, to being very frustrated and not being able to learn something completely or do something as well as I should have. So throughout the month, I felt that I had some high points and some low points, but all in all, it was a pretty exciting project to take on, and I still feel excited right now that I finished because I will go towards the next project in June, I think, with Coursera, which is a really big boost to my emotions. But overall, they've been really positive. Throughout the month, I've done very well in learning the course since I've been able to learn a bunch of stuff from the beginning stuff to some of the intermediate stuff, like doing classes, like you can see here, building classes, doing input and output of files, which is some pretty intermediate stuff which I didn't expect to get to in the month that I've done this. So I think throughout the month I've done really well on learning this and on doing the course. So I believe that if I had more time, I could do more, which brings me back to my point on that I've done very well in this month. I think throughout the month changed, especially through the project itself. From the start, it was more. I had more time to do these videos, so I had better work ethic. But after the project started progressing, I had some minor and some major complications, which led to the sidetrack of some of the videos, which led to me also sidetracking some of the work. But overall, I think it was a pretty good work ethic that I had, except for some days at the end of the month, which I didn't have that as much time as I wish I did to do the project. I think my work ethic was pretty good throughout the month. I want to show you some of the stuff that I learned and some of the stuff that I improved on since I started. So first of all, this is one of the classes that I took, well, one of the lessons that I took, and I showed this off in one of my other videos. So this basically was some of the more basic concept, but also pretty complicated since you had to do a lot of coding in itself, and you had to type a bunch of stuff, and if you did something wrong, some missed letter, some space or indent, then it would all be wrong. So see, this here was like just you start making a list, whatever it was. I explained this in the other video. So first of all, I learned making these lists, all the lists and dictionaries, because some of these are dictionaries where you actually can take stuff out of it. So this particular lesson led me to do some of this showing up the dictionary that's in the inventory and the list that was in it. So after doing this, I advanced into some of the more advanced stuff like classes, which building classes. So this was the final lesson. It was pretty complicated to do since even though the directions point you in the right direction, they don't tell you exactly what you gotta do all the time. So it was basically creating a class, whatever it was, a 3D point. You assigned it as an object and you defined it. You initiate the self function, which is always initiated, and whatever functions you wanted, and you give these values. So this then you define the representation, which is something I didn't know before, and I learned throughout it, especially using the initiation function that I was very uncomfortable with at the start, but then I got more comfortable with it. So the representation function was pretty similar, and you had to do well what the lesson told you. So once you did this, you would print out the points 1, 2, and 3, which was what the course wanted you to do. Make a 3 point represented by X, Y, and Z, which would be 1, 2, and 3. So this was a bit more of the advanced stuff, and this one was even more advanced, which because you had to input and output of files, do inputs and outputs, and this it took me a while to do, especially this all of this because it was not like in these lessons, it was just the script. You just write the script, and this is what it appears. But you also got some text after you did the script. So you have to do. I had to learn new words like with, how to use with, and how to use as, which were not that simple to learn. So you can see here in the instructions. Check if the file is not closed, and if that's the case, call it close and stuff. So once you did this, you could submit it, and it will tell you. It will give you this, the text. This is a script. It will say, "Oh, it's true," and this was basically the last one in input and output. It was. It took me a while to learn, but this is basically like the one of the more advanced stuff that I learned throughout this course. Some extra information I want to add is that even though I finished the project itself, I still signed up for the Coursera stuff, which is basically a continuation, if you might say, of the project. Since it gave me gave me so much fun doing it that I even looked up the course on for Python in Coursera. I think it's this one, yeah, and it will start. It starts in 18 days, so that's basically something that was inspired by doing this project, which I enjoyed a lot. Thank you for giving me this time to do the project.